installation art really grabbed my attention because it's big, it's powerful, people can interact with it, you can go into it and you can experience it.
Welcome back to the Ideal Home Show YouTube channel. I'm Louise Gookey. Thank you, as always, for joining us. And we, right now, are going to be chatting once again to the wonderful Matt Smithwood from Interior Design Masters. You might remember some of his fantastic projects there, or if you follow him on Instagram or seen his website, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about, those fantastic sort of handcrafted interiors that really stand the test of time. So, Matt, thank you again for joining us. I love having you here. I love chatting to you.
So do I. I couldn't agree more.
Basically, I use you as an inspiration to design my own house. So thank you.
My pleasure.
All right, well, we're going to be talking in this episode a little bit, well, get to know a little bit about your background, because I don't think we've spoken about that here on the channel yet. But also looking at trends in interiors and how we can, and I know one of your big things is projects that stand the test of time. It's not just something that's you put in this season and then you need to change.
Yeah.
So I want to talk about how we can keep things trendy, but actually make sure that we don't need to swap them out all the time. So let's start with you. Can you tell us a little bit about, I guess, your background and how you got into this space?
Sure. So when I was in school, it was always about art. I loved art and design. Product design and art is the only two classes that I really cared about. And I spent all my time in the art classroom at break time, lunchtime, just messing around, playing around and stuff. And it had always been that way inclined. And when I was at school, in secondary school, I actually won an award for design and innovation, which was interesting. And so that I definitely knew that was a direction that I wanted to go in. And then I went to college to study art. I did an art foundation at college. And then when it came to looking for unis, because I really wanted to go to uni, I wasn't quite sure what I wanted to do yet, but I definitely wanted to go to uni. And I went to loads of open days for art courses, fine art and things like that. But nothing was really clicking. And I think I love art, right? But I didn't see the purpose in it for me. It just seemed a little bit pointless. And what I mean by that is I didn't feel like I was going to learn anything. I felt like when you go to art uni, you basically just get given a studio and a budget to actually kind of facilitate your pieces, because art supplies are expensive. But I didn't feel like I was actually going to learn anything, and I wasn't sure what I was going to be kind of using my art for. And then, and I'd always been interested in interior design. I just never thought about actually doing it as a degree. And then I think my mum suggested that I should go to an interior design open day. And I went to a few, and I went to one in Coventry, and I loved it. Everything started clicking, and it was kind of like it gave my art a purpose, because it was like it's the same thing, right? You think about a mood and a feeling and how you want to portray this aesthetic in a certain way, but it was kind of, you can live in it, you can be in that piece of art. And when I was at college, I kind of went from the fine art side of things to being more interested in sculpture, and then getting quite interested in installation art. And installation art really grabbed my attention because it's big, it's powerful, and it can, people can interact with it. And big exhibitions in parks and in studios, or massive ceiling installation, or it grabbed me because it's art, it's an idea, it's something that you're trying to kind of explore, but it's real life. You can go into it and you can experience it. And it's just started clicking, and I got really excited. And we were doing on the open day in Coventry Uni, we were doing like this little kind of little task, and one of the teachers just shouted, "Matt, we need you." And she's called Heidi, and she was my first teacher at uni. And that was the first time that I'd been to an open day and felt like they actually remembered who I was and were interested in me, not just kind of like filtering people through, and it felt personal. And yeah, loved it. So started studying interior design at uni, and that was history really. That had been my main focus ever since.
Wow.
So yeah, it's kind of just went from art to interior design.
I love that. And it's so nice that yes, you found a subject that you liked. It wasn't quite right for a career, but then actually that transferable skill that you could take to explore another area is, yeah, it's wonderful. And great that your uni allowed you to, well, helped you develop that and saw the potential.
Definitely.
Well, we can't go any further without talking a little bit about your time on TV, Interior Design Masters. How was it?
I honestly loved it. I've
Yeah.
so much, and I can't imagine what my life would be like now if I didn't have that experience behind me. Everyone that was involved in the show was just amazing. So I met so many new people, which I love doing. I'm definitely like a people's person. I love meeting people and doing new things. So that was brilliant. And then it's obviously given me the platform that I've needed to actually go ahead and open my own design studio and be somewhat a respected designer. So it's been absolutely brilliant, and yeah, I'm really, really grateful that I've was given that opportunity, because it's definitely just basically it's like a massive catalyst. It's basically sped me up like 5-10 years. It's given me a massive portfolio, and it's given me the reach, and it's given me a name. So forever grateful.
I love that. Were there any sort of standout moments for you, or a particular design that you really loved from your time at the show, on the show?
I think the first project, the very first one, was amazing. I love designing that space, and it's actually the first space I've ever designed. So I've obviously did projects at uni, like big kind of conceptual projects that aren't real. But that was my first space that I've ever designed in real life. I haven't done any spaces around my home yet. I was more kind of focused on big commercial spaces and kind of doing concepts for theoretical projects that didn't exist. And then, so that is the first space that I've actually designed and furnished and bought cushions for. So it was a real challenge. And when I first started, I thought, like, what do I even do? Like, they were like, all right, go. And I was like, I didn't know what to do. But yeah, just kind of broke it down and figured it out. And so that was really nice. I think.
So just for anyone who didn't see the show or hasn't seen that first challenge, can you just tell us exactly what you designed?
Yep. So we were in an old convent, and we had to transform nun cells into Airbnb rooms. So really interesting project. Old building, and the brief was signature style. And I've got a slightly more contemporary style than probably the age of the building. So trying to design a room that didn't look out of place in the building, but also reflected my signature style. And I think having that kind of first practice run, my first ever space, the weather was amazing, everything was new and exciting, and all of those little things just made that first episode so fun to film. And the pressure was also, I just didn't feel the pressure as much. I'm not sure why, I just felt really relaxed and comfortable, and I was just happy to be there, to be honest. So
Yes,
really
I love that. Well, let's talk about that signature style then, or anyone's signature style. As I said at the beginning, one of your big things is about creating timeless designs that really sort of fit the person and not necessarily following trends, yet still staying modern. There's lots of contradictions there, but your style seems to really incorporate all of it. So if someone wants to design things that are modern, on trend, but actually are timeless, what pieces of advice, what advice could you give around that? Like, what are some of the things to think about?
So obviously following trends can be quite risky in the sense that they are trends, and the trends can pass. And I feel that you really have to understand what you like, because I think you might feel that you like a particular trend because everyone's doing it and that's what's trending, that's what's cool. But there's so much out there. There's so many textures and colors and wall coverings, and there's so much. So I think it's really about understanding what you like, what makes you happy. And I know that sounds a bit cliche, but it's true. That is the key, really. So, keep up with trends. Look at magazines and websites like Design or Elle Magazine or the World of Interiors, and see what people are doing, because trends, they're fluid, and there's all sorts of trends in all sorts of areas of design and styles. But for me personally, I love my spaces to connect with nature. I'm not talking about a forest wallpaper with loads and loads of plants. I don't mean that. It's about the materials, about the texture. And I think we've spoke about this on another episode where I mentioned that when you look at the natural world, you'll rarely find any space in nature that is flat. Yet we design our spaces so flat with right angles of four walls. And I like to just connect things to nature a little bit more, whether that's the use of materials. And you can create a really kind of modern, almost kind of space age design that still connects with nature through depth of texture and different textures on the walls, and then a different texture on the surfaces, and then really thick throws and knobbly rugs under your feet to mimic like walking on the beach or something. And all those little elements to me make a design kind of my style, if that makes sense. And then you just spruce that up with whatever colors you're feeling. You might be really into a warm terracotta or a deep green or a light kind of, even like a light beigey stone color you might be quite into at the time. And then once you've kind of got your texture and your color sorted, think about the finishing touches, like the metallics, the hardware, the door handles, the things you're touching. They don't have to be white plastic. They should be a nice kind of cold metallic brass or something. That's what I think.
Yeah, and I love that because it incorporates your, like you said, it keeps it modern, it keeps it unique, a little bit different. Yet you can just refresh it with the little things, like you say, the colors, but actually the main part of it is just your base, like it's your passion, your love, what makes you feel homely.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, I love that. Great advice, as always. Amazing. Matt, we need to wrap up, which I'm honestly, these episodes go so quickly. I could talk to you for hours. And I've got no doubt we're going to have you on again. So I look forward to talking to you then. But before I let you go, just a reminder once again where we find you.
So my Instagram is matt.smithwood and my website is www.mattsmithwood.com. And that's where I post all my work and tips and updates and all sorts.
Yeah, absolutely. And do reach out, because I know absolutely that you do not mind answering a few little questions on Instagram.
I love it. Yeah. I love talking about design. So no problem at all.
Easy. Amazing. Matt, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, as always, for joining us here at the Ideal Home Show, especially on our YouTube channel. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and go and check out Matt's other interviews, where there's lots and lots of more inspirational tips around our interiors and how we can create them to suit our own personalities. But also, go and check out some of the other interviews from our experts, and we will see you next time. Thanks again, Matt. See you soon.
Thanks so much, Louise. Take care. Bye.